Hey, everybody. I know that we're recording this on Saturday, September 10th, but earlier this week, we learned that unfortunately the Queen of England, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, unfortunately passed away. Those of you who are listening within the Commonwealth, none of us are in the Commonwealth, but we do send our condolences. We are planning not to be insensitive about it in any of our media or official GWES information. So if you have any concerns that people are being insensitive, please bring it up to GWES staff. We will act on it because that can technically be construed as a policy violation. But yeah, we send our condolences. She will be missed, and hopefully King Charles will live up to the name. So anyways, on to status quo, I guess. On that.
Yeah, welcome to Status Quo. On this episode of Status Quo, tragically, WNYC seems to have murdered Lawson. He's not here today. Quo 35 mourns the loss of Lawson. Environment Canada stations send their condolences. We've lost him, my friends. He's no longer here. And on to the podcast. Welcome to the GWES-ERN podcast.
Iron deficiency will do that to you.
Iron deficiency will do that to you.
But yeah, welcome to the GWES-ERN podcast for episode 15. We got a lot to talk about today. We got the four big boys here, boys and girls here. So we got me, Anna, Gabriel, McMillan, and Marley.
I was about to say
the usual suspects.
Hey, Cam.
The usual suspects.
Yeah.
AKA the executive producer and the three slave producer. That means, sorry.
No, the executive fuckboy and the lower level fuckboys.
Yeah, the lower level.
You want to say that I'm a lower level fuckboy? First of all, I'm not a boy. Second of all, this episode is sponsored by GWES-ERN Technologies!
All right. Cool.
Oh my god.
All right. We've got a lot to talk about this episode. There's quite a bit, and Cam can run us over that real quick.
Yeah, let's get through a quick look through of all the topics here. So
run us over, Cam.
So in no particular order, we got Apple Emergency SOS via satellite. We got the United Kingdom implementing WEA starting in October, and then we got iPOS 4.01 update, and then an FCC proposal for EAS regarding changes.
Yeah.
There's a lot on that one. That one's going to take a long time.
That's going to take a while. And I won't say I'm very happy about all of it either. I'm not going to lie.
Years later.
Yeah.
A few hundred years later.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
That's how it's gonna feel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How it's gonna feel. You guys might want to buckle up for a long one here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Buckle up. Get some popcorn. Buckle up. Get some popcorn. Pop the popcorn.
Buckle up, get some popcorn, and hit that subscribe button on wherever you listen to your podcasts.
And and make sure you cook the fire corn.
The fire.
Make sure you cook the popcorn on top of the. Make sure you cook the popcorn on top of the wildfires that are currently happening in my region.
Jesus.
I walked outside today. There was ash falling from the sky. That was fun.
Yeah, it's not a good time. For those who don't really know, the entire northwest of the United States is on fucking fire,
and nobody's talking about it.
It kind of reminds me of the
when that
whole
happened.
Australia situation that happened in 2020.
Yeah,
just
Pacific Northwest rain. Yeah, more like fire.
Pacific Northwest fire. We got the opposite.
Pacific North death.
And a primary entry point system has issued a fucking die warning.
Yeah.
Ooh.
The primary entry point system has issued a fucking kill yourself.
No, God. All right.
But yeah, so I guess we can get into the first major topic, especially on the topic of death and being in the middle of nowhere.
Yep, I was going to say that.
Apple special. That's a good
segue.
That's a horrible segue.
Horrible segue
but,
to our sponsor.
So,
no, sorry.
Nice.
Go ahead.
GWES-ERN Technologies.
Yeah. All right, go ahead.
But yeah, so September 7th. So this would be Wednesday, compared to the day that we're recording this. There was the Apple special event, where they released the new iPhone 14 series, Apple Watch series, and one of the coolest features on any phone, arguably, is emergency SOS via satellite. So this is compatible
I'm going to
with
say it right now. If they would have somehow done this, okay, I don't know if it's totally possible, but if they would have done this with, Starlink, there wouldn't be this whole point your phone to find a satellite and use half your battery. Yeah.
It still would.
Yeah, okay, maybe, but it would be a lot better.
One of the reasons why we kind of wanted Evan to be here, because Evan explained to us pretty well how the antenna gets
how
to the satellite
probably
works.
the iPhone pulled it off.
Yeah.
Well, I can explain it
Can we,
because
get a
Evan's
quick
not
rundown?
the only radio dude.
Yeah, Anna, let's get a quick rundown
I guess
on
let's
that.
continue. Well, we'll get to that in a moment. So,
Okay.
so emergency SOS via satellite is compatible with the new iPhone 14 series. So that includes the iPhone 14, 14 Plus, 14 Pro, and 14 Pro Max. It is free for 2 years from activation of your phone, and that starts in November. And it allows for emergency communication when away from other methods such as cellular, Wi-Fi, or basically anything. And it's kind of marketed as a last resort.
And honestly, it does kind of suck that they put it. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to get on to the provider, but go ahead.
I was just going to say, it does kind of suck that they put it behind a paywall. But first of all, you're getting 2 years free. Second of all, it's like if you get one of those, I forget what they're called, but they're like literally for people that go out in the middle of nowhere. You pay a subscription anyways, and you have to activate it. So it's kind of like it's on your phone and you're getting the convenience. That, but also one of the satellite beacons. You're literally getting it through your phone, which is so convenient. Yeah, it's so convenient. Yeah. So it's like totally worth it in my mind.
Yeah, it's free for 2 years from activation. We don't know of any pricing or if it's even going to be available after 2 years. Yeah. But the satellite provider is Global Star. One of the, I believe they have 20. They have 24 satellites meant purely for communication. They're utilizing band 53
they also have a pretty good
N53.
track record, I've heard.
They do. And so one of the coolest things I think is part of it is the UI helps the user point their iPhone in a specific direction to the satellite. That's just kind of cool for the technology, especially in like a small device like an iPhone.
Oh yeah, being
able it has to be I don't even know. Anna could explain that more, but I think that's just one of the coolest points where you can just integrate software so closely to those antennas to be able to get the location data.
So I was talking to Evan about this, and Evan and I were kind of like figuring out how they would do it like in real time. So basically, the way that we think that they're doing it is, so whenever you're talking to a satellite, you need a certain way of pointing your antenna at the satellites called circular polarization. So think of it like whenever you're using a antenna, you know how normally you have like a stick antenna and it's either up or down or side to side. Yeah. You don't normally have anything other than that. However, there is a third that is called vertical and horizontal polarization. Polarization is basically the direction. There is another kind of mode of them where it is circular. The antenna is circular. It's circular polarization,
which is the same way that Starlink does it, correct? Because the satellite dishes are circular. But yeah, to a point.
Starlink is different. But circular polarization, normally you'll see like helical. They look really cool. But the iPhone obviously doesn't have a big screw-off antenna coming out of it.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Evan and I sat down, and the way that we were thinking that they're doing it is, first of all, it asks you all the questions beforehand. So it basically pre-caches all the message that you're making, because it's not like an active phone call. It's just basically a beacon.
It's
it uses it's GPS, so it finds where your location is via GPS, because there's always GPS satellites. Like, especially if you're in the middle of a mountain, like the example they were giving, there's obviously GPS satellites visible.
Abundant.
And then, so it'll get your GPS location, and it'll ask you a couple questions like, are you hurt? Is anybody else hurt? Are you stranded? What's the emergency? And then what it does is it tells you, point your phone here. And it tells you to point it at the satellite. And basically what it will do is you're pointing your phone, and what the phone does, from what we can tell, we don't have an idea if this is exactly, we don't have any data sheets, but the phone uses something called a phased array. It is where you have multiple antennas set up in a very specific way, where you can basically, using each antenna, let's see, you have 6 antennas in a circle inside the iPhone.
Yeah.
You don't really need them in a circle. You just have 6 antennas, maybe in like a grid array, or that would be 9 antennas. But point is, what you can do is you can selectively power each individual antenna to basically transmit in a circle. So you can emulate a circular polarization. In fact, they have some like kind of satellites and stuff that will do this. Or not satellite. Well, they have satellites. They have radar. In fact, it is the exact same concept of how frickin' Doppler radar works. But so basically, what you're doing is whenever you point this at it, it turns those transmitters inside the phone up to 11. That's why it frickin' kills half your battery. So it turns them up to 11, and then it transmits at full power, making a circular, emulating a circular antenna. That's what we can think.
I mean,
if Evan
I know
was
we
here,
don't
he
have a
could
ton of
explain it better.
information about it, but do you know what, like, how much power that would be needed
A
to be
lot.
able to transmit from a phone? Like, do you know any like wattage range that you would probably guess?
Well, you can hit satellites with a relatively. It depends on where the satellite is. Like, you can hit satellites pretty damn easily. For example, you can use a 5-watt Baofeng to hit a satellite.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to have a.
I think I've heard stories of people doing it with 1 watt.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've hit the ISS using 5 watts using a big antenna. But normally, if you see anybody kind of communicating with the ISS, they'll have a circularly polarized antenna that they'll just sit in a parking lot, pointing it directly at the ISS, which is essentially what your phone's doing. It's telling you, point it here towards this thing, and you can use like 1 watt of power to hit it. Of course, you're not going to be coming in. You're not going to be coming in with at frickin' like studio quality, but it's just enough. And here's the thing.
And I'm guessing that's probably why Apple chose to do message only. That's the exact
because
thing.
It's packet radio. You can't really do a whole lot of anything else with packet radio.
Well, whenever it comes to the ISS, they have both packet and voice.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but then again, normally people who are walking around are transmitting with frickin' tens of watts, which you're not going to get that on an iPhone.
They have customized equipments,
Yeah. You're not going to get that on an iPhone. The iPhone can probably maybe max transmit 1 watt. I don't know.
Yeah.
Try and look it up. I'm probably not going to come up with anything, but it probably can only do
I'm
like
sure
a max of
someone will figure it out once the phone actually releases.
But
yeah.
From what we can tell, it may just be freaking 2 antennas. It could just be 2. One that's like this and one that's like that. So one that's vertical and one that's horizontal, because you can emulate circular just with that. Because if you have this one transmitting like this and this one transmitting like this, you can have them transmitting at the same time like that, and you can create a circular pattern.
And if it is...
So there's no video on this podcast, but what Anna was trying to show was a vertical polarization and a horizontal polarization.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just imagine a cross.
It can make the signal circular and send it up that way.
Imagine a graph where you have like your 4 quadrants and you have the T in the center. Like if you're on a graphing calculator, it's like that. But but with that, you have your vertical and your horizontal, and it creates a circle.
So if it is what do you call it? Phased array, that is actually quite impressive, because like you were saying, Cam, phased array is what what Starlink uses, and that alone, like something on a consumer level, phased array is some pretty big technology to pack into something like that. And
you gotta
really.
Like
Apple,
Starlink has
it is
how
actually
many antennas?
Yeah, that's true. But if they're pulling something like that off in an iPhone,
a lot more than you think.
I may stand corrected.
Phased array. Yeah.
Okay.
As somebody who does radio, a lot more than you think uses phased array.
Yeah.
I guess it's just more impressive that Apple could pull off talking to a satellite on an iPhone.
thinking about it, it's probably not phased array because phased array is also very expensive.
Yeah,
So
that's what I meant.
It's probably just a horizontal and vertical antenna inside the thing. Thinking about it.
Yeah.
Or who knows? Knowing Apple, they may be doing something crazy like using the frickin' wireless charging pad as a transmitter. I don't know.
No, for real though. No, but back to the protocol.
I wouldn't even be surprised.
That wouldn't work very well.
It wouldn't, but it's Apple. You could be surprised, honestly. Yeah. But back to the protocol and everything. So then basically, again, in the demo
it is
that
Apple we're talking about.
Yeah, back to the demo and the protocol. So in the demo, they showed off basically instead of like text messaging or anything, there is that option, but that's like way later, I think. And if you I don't know. They showed something similar to text messaging.
To emergency SOS via satellite, you have to try to call 911 via normal means, but then it'll be like trying to connect and then we can't connect.
Would you like to? Yeah, but basically, so in the demo, it was like select. There were like options, like something like 5 options, like. Is someone hurt? Are there multiple people hurt? Is anyone hurt? Are you in mountainous terrain? Is it like, so it's like options,
like, is there, like,
and then they can compress that. And then they can compress that into a very small data packet to send off. So that's how they're accomplishing something like that. And then
I was looking more into it. There's a lot of data that they're sending. They're sending your medical ID through Apple Health. They're sending your location through GPS. They're sending your emergency information.
Yeah.
And the thing that I found out about it is it actually transmits it has to be an identifier for your Apple ID because it also shows your location on Find My.
Huh. That's cool.
To family members that are looking for you, it'll show that this was updated via satellite.
Well, that doesn't necessarily mean that there's a lot of information there.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it is just there's a lot of different things that it's sending.
A lot. Here's one thing that they can do. A lot of that information can be stored in the cloud. So like your health stuff and all that
ID.
All that stuff can be stored in the cloud, and then the only thing that it will send as the packets would be like it'll just since they're yes and no location, yes and no questions. It'll just be basically your location, the answers you gave, and then probably a reference ID to all of your stuff stored in the cloud.
Exactly. Yeah, and then they just the third party pulls it from the cloud. Another thing about third parties though is with Apple, another thing they were talking about is like depending on the responders and stuff in your area. I don't know if it's Apple, but there's like a service that because some places only accept like voice calls about it.
Yeah, and so if someone doesn't accept this new technology yet, there's an Apple, I believe Apple operated. Don't quote me on that. It's a relay center. So basically, that relay center will get all your responses and then manually call for help.
Yeah, they'll convert it to voice.
So from what I've been hearing about this, I feel like the way that they're actually doing it is that they are using the satellite system from the third party, but the third party isn't the one receiving the data. Because here's the thing. Yeah. You can transmit to a satellite all you want. That satellite's got to transmit it back down. So what they could be doing is they could be using the satellites as basically a point to bounce off the freaking sky.
Exactly.
And Apple receives the info from the ground, not necessarily from the third party. I don't know, but knowing Apple, that's probably what they're doing.
Maybe Globalstar has a base station where they can parse the data from there.
Yeah. I don't know.
But in some way, shape, or form, it's not.
They have the budget.
Yeah, in some way, shape, or form, it's most likely not Globalstar that's actually doing any of the transmitting of data to anyone else. It's like Globalstar is just providing the medium.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, and I think I've seen this from multiple news outlets that it puts Apple in a satellite race with SpaceX.
Really?
Which makes sense. Not like building satellites and such, but it puts Apple in a space that SpaceX hasn't, like a company that SpaceX hasn't seen in that space before.
Well, no, because
not in terms of building satellites and launching, but
well, I don't think it does because Apple has nothing to do with the satellites. The only thing that they're doing is the information.
No, as in like in the emergency response department, do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, SpaceX isn't in the emergency response.
I know.
SpaceX isn't in the emergency response thing.
They kind of are in a way that like you wouldn't really think of, like especially like with the whole Ukraine Russian thing going on. SpaceX is like the only medium to have internet in Ukraine right now.
Well,
True.
that doesn't necessarily mean that they're emergency response. You have to remember,
Fair.
yes, that is an emergency situation, but as a company, they profit off of that a lot.
Yeah,
because think about it.
See what
They have to go to the Ukraine government, and the Ukraine government has to pay for those dishes.
Yeah. I can get
So-
what Cam is saying, but I also get what Anna's saying, because like, yes, you could, I mean, you could freaking send a text message or a, internet message via Starlink, or you could call up a SIP server via Starlink, but it's not like Starlink is providing the emergency medium.
It's
for
the
you to send
medium
it through.
again.
See,
Yeah. But
the
I totally
way
get
that
where
I
Anna's
see
coming from
this,
here.
the way I see this is they're two completely separate things. SpaceX is providing a service through their satellites and their ground stations, and Apple is using somebody else's service to do data transfer. So, yes, they're both, at the end of the day, they're data transfer, but SpaceX owns the entire area that they're doing it. They own the
Exactly.
base stations, they own the internet plans going
Yeah,
up to there,
if I
they
was
own
gonna
the
say-
satellites. So, and
If I was gonna
Apple,
say it's
the
more
only
of a
thing
race
that they
between-
own is the information.
It's
So-
more just. I would say it's more. You could compare Global Star and Starlink versus Apple and Starlink. I think
Yeah.
that would make more sense.
And-
in
Or
this
even then,
situation.
like,
They're nowhere near the same plane of
Oh,
existence.
totally not,
Starlink
no.
has so many more. Like, you got to think, like I was saying earlier, Global Star only has 24 satellites.
Yeah.
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 Versus
And here's the
like,
thing
what,
too, is like
2,000?
saying that
yeah.
saying that Apple partnering with a satellite provider puts them in a race against Starlink is complete fucking bullshit, because it's like,
Well, the thing is, though, I wouldn't be surprised, because I don't know if moving on to like another topic that's not on here, T-Mobile and Starlink.
Oh,
yeah, that would be interesting.
Apple's going to have to support that.
Huh?
Not
Explain.
necessarily.
I didn't hear anything about this.
Not
Okay,
necessarily.
so T-Mobile is partnering with Starlink to offer service to customers where there's no
remote
cell
areas.
service.
That
Oh,
okay.
So in theory, after this whole thing is finished and done, there will be no cell phone dead zones
No.
anywhere on the planet.
Wait,
Now,
so are you
you
saying
see-
like
And
so
then
are you
that
saying like
shit's-
traditionally Wait, so are you saying like traditionally, like, of course, so like there's a cell tower, but it's hardwired into the system via an actual cable, but you're saying like put a freaking cell
Think of it
tower
like-
and then put a Starlink dish
no,
and hook it up to the cell tower?
No, think of it
No.
as you have no cell service whatsoever. Like, you're in the same situation as the emergency SOS video.
You would
connect
pick
to
it up.
cell-
You
you
would
can
pick up
connect
your
to
internet
T-Mobile
from
through
you
that
can,
way.
Yeah,
What
the
the
actual
hell?
phone would
That's
connect
so-
to the Starlink nodes.
That's
Yeah, the actual-
freaking nuts.
Yeah,
And you got to
Dude,
think
that's
it's
something
T-Mobile.
I need
And
to keep up on.
Okay.
Starlink is in talks with other companies too. So if more carriers support this, Apple's going to have to support it either way.
That's gonna suck so much battery.
Here,
Jesus.
here's
You got to think it's for
that-
emergency situations.
Oh, okay.
I was about to say, hold on. I'm confused on how that would even work, because the only reason that you have a big freaking dish on the ground for whenever it's like
A home
for
install,
what?
like a home install of Starlink.
Yeah, for the home, you have the big dish because the bigger your reception, it's like first
Your
of all,
speed increases.
yeah, first of all, your Starlink satellites aren't that big, especially whenever you're it's like trying to hit a needle, like sitting on the ground. Imagine trying to hit a needle that's like a mile away with
yeah,
a laser.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
pretty hard. And
which is why Starlink has so many
Yeah.
phase arrays.
yeah, that's why you have so many satellites that are sitting in the sky. But those have to those frickin' base stations transmit at a pretty decent power to hit
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
So trying to do that with
Yeah.
a cell phone, like,
That's the thing. It's definitely
Yeah.
like a new concept. But the thing is, though, you're not running at full Starlink speed. You're running at maybe 3 or 4 megabit.
yeah, which if they're thinking about doing it with the same concept of emergency SOS, where it's just trying to send a minimum amount of information, that would be okay, I guess. You'd have the same issue where you're gonna have to try and hit a satellite, but
Yeah.
Well,
like,
yeah, of course.
yeah, there are way more satellites, but so
Unless
they
somehow they can build an antenna that just defies the laws of physics.
Yeah.
I wonder if like the way that they're gonna do this is they're just gonna be like, hey, phone manufacturer, if you're gonna want to do this, you're gonna have to make your freaking built-in antennas, fucking redonkulously powered.
Yeah.
Hey guys, on a completely unrelated note, sorry for interrupting. Looks like the wildfires have officially hit Canada.
Oh
Hooray.
boy.
They just issued an evacuation notice.
Yeah, I
over
just heard
impasse.
your sage go off a little bit. Granted, I don't think
Yeah, I
the
muted
listeners
it.
could have heard it, but I heard your sage go off.
For those of you who don't know, my Sage is currently out of the air chain and in alert ready mode, meaning that
I
it
actually
will
did
only
not pull that
it'll
from
relay
alert ready.
impasse.
That is weird.
Yeah,
I did not pull
pulled
that. Oh
That's
no,
why you
I
should
just
pull from
got
the
it.
right source.
Yeah, so I
pulling
think
from an
this is
RSS feed,
definitely.
believe me.
I think the whole emergency access via satellite, it's an amazing, like we were talking about it, like me, Anna, not me and Anna, me, John, and Marley, we're all watching this event live. We think that this is a massive win for emergency management.
Yeah,
Just
I
in terms
agree.
of like this,
Yeah.
you know, you're not having to spend $3,000 on a fucking satellite phone. You can get help with your iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
Which, granted, of course, the satellite phone is going to be way superior because you could talk. But
Yeah.
being
Well,
able to get
they're
at least,
also
get
not
at least like
so
a little
expensive.
bit of data out.
They're also
Meanwhile,
not so
I'm over here
expensive.
like, yo, I've got APRS, I'm fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, then
I
again,
just think it's
I have to have a license to use APRS, and like in order to use APRS at distances like that, I'm having to transmit at frickin' 50 watts on 2 meters.
Oh no, my Baofeng died. Looks like I'm gonna die in the mountain.
Well, not necessarily Baofeng, because bear in mind, I could run a base station off of solar.
Well, that's true. You're right. But I mean, honestly,
And-
bro, you're hiking with solar panels in your backpack, bro. Come on.
Well, have
lot
you
of people
seen
do.
like the foldable?
Yeah, it's
the
true.
foldable solar panels, or like the frickin' like
Ones that
solar
can charge your
panels that are
phone.
basically a fucking
Yeah,
blanket.
but I mean, like,
Yeah.
come on. Just bring your
Well-
freaking iPhone at this point. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Well, here's the thing. I don't have an iPhone, nor do I really want an iPhone. So that works
Yeah.
for me. Then again, I'm also a licensed amateur
subjective.
radio, so
Yeah.
that also works for me.
This seems
Yeah,
like a
I
very Apple thing. Like, I wonder if anyone's gonna kind of catch on to this, like, you know, Samsung or anything like that.
like bringing the satellite. Well, the thing is, though, you got to have a satellite company that's willing to. There's not many.
I know.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
no, I'm
here's
just
the
saying.
thing.
This seems like a truly Apple thing. So I don't know if anyone's gonna
Well,
kind of come up and copycat
Here's
it.
the thing. What I say is going to happen here is either you're going to have carriers like T-Mobile team up with SpaceX and shit like that, and once T-Mobile starts doing that, you realize that other companies are going to get in that.
Oh, yeah.
in
Yeah,
on
because
that deal
now
as
it's a
well
feature that no one. Now it's
immediately.
a feature that no one has.
Yeah.
SpaceX is willing
So-
to work with everyone. Like they're willing to make this a
So-
universal standard.
Here's the thing: not only can you have SpaceX team up with fucking everyone, but here's one thing that you have to remember: whenever you have phone manufacturers coming to things, so if Google comes to the exact same satellite provider that Apple's going and goes, "Hey, we want your service," they'll listen.
Yeah.
Same
They
with
will listen.
Samsung. Same with like any big phone manufacturer. If they come to them saying, "Hey, we want to use their service," they're gonna give them the service.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I think there's not much else to talk about on this. It's definitely going to be we kind of have to wait for
It's a big
people
thing.
to actually
Yep.
have to use it and see how it, how it actually operates in practicality.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, I think it's an amazing step forward for the entire
Definitely,
industry
yeah.
in general.
I agree.
It's one of those things, yeah, because now it's an Apple thing. Everyone's going to want to try to copy it. That's just how the industry's always been since the first iPhone.
I mean, look at the notch.
Yeah.
That was a
Yeah.
bad Apple trend.
Headphone
The Apple trend, headphone jack, freaking power. I hate how a new trend is getting rid of your charger.
Yeah.
That's why I was so happy whenever I got my Pixel and it came with the fast charger. And I was like, thank God I don't have to buy one.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. There's actually countries that are forcing Apple to include it again.
Yeah.
Like I think Brazil is
Brazil.
one that comes to the top of my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, right now
once one-
iPhone.
See-
Right now, iPhone sales are banned in Brazil until they include it in the box again.
Which they're going to
Really?
do.
Yeah.
Yes, they're gonna have to. Brazil's a
also-
big market.
Yeah.
One thing I'm waiting for, and I will still never touch an iPhone until they actually put the fucking USB-C cable on there.
Yep, that should be coming the 15, but no freaking
Well-
promises knowing Apple.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah, well, I mean,
knowing
just watch
Apple,
their other devices are already transitioning to USB-C.
well, here's the thing. Knowing Apple, what they're going to do is they only are required to sell USB-C in Europe.
Yeah. Or they're
So-
going to put some stupid freaking thing like they do with the lightning cable on it and make it super proprietary.
MFI.
Yeah,
Yeah.
MFI.
yeah, you
Well,
gotta think of MFI.
Well, here's the thing. Oh, freaking
That's the thing
having
is, though, if you want-
Apple-specific
if-
USB-C cable. Well, they can't because USB-C is an entire standard.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you're right.
they
you're
can't
right.
do MFI because
the thing with the thing
that would
with
be
MFI,
changing the
though,
standard.
That's so the purpose of MFI is to be able to market it as like an iPhone
compatible
cable.
compatible with iPhone.
USB-C. Well, not even that. It would just be like if you want to put iPhone or anything Apple in your marketing at all for this cable. For example, like Anchor, if they want to make a fast charger specific for the iPhone, like if there's a specific thing that you could do to charge an iPhone faster, you can't put iPhone on it until you have MFI.
Well, here's the thing.
MFI is more than just a branding thing. You know that,
Well,
right?
yeah. Here's the thing. From
For those
what I
of you who
remember,
don't know,
MFI.
MFI also has a chip that's actually in the Lightning
Yeah.
connector that
Yep.
tells you whether or not it's a genuine thing. And if the iPhone does not have communication with the MFI chip, it'll immediately recognize it as an unsupported charger and have you charge at like Mach -3 billion.
Well, it just charges you
Yeah.
at the regular 5-watt speed.
Well, here's what this is why I'm saying they can't do that, because USB isn't just a cable, or USB-C isn't just a cable, it's an entire standard. You have to build the cable to that standard. Putting an MFI chip in there is not via the standard, and therefore they can't sell those cables as USB-C. It's not a USB-C cable.
You want to know
So-
what I would see? You want to know what I would see Apple doing?
Putting the MFI chip in the frickin' charging block.
Nope.
What?
That's not what I would see them doing. I would see them implementing Thunderbolt.
Yeah, I could
Thunderbolt
see
on
that.
No.
They have a.
I
They
can
are.
see
They
that.
are a
Well-
stakeholder. They're a stakeholder in Thunderbolt.
Well, here's the thing. They can't do Thunderbolt because Europe specifically made them do USB-C.
Well, here's the
Yeah.
thing.
Thunderbolt uses the USB-C cable, but not the USB-C standard. And
Yeah.
Europe wants them to use the USB-C standard, which that's why I'm saying if they want to do MFI, they'd have to sell Apple-specific charging blocks. Because they could put MFI in the charging block, because the charging block is not part of the USB standard, the USB Type-C standard. So you could put an MFI thing in the charging block and just use the entire fucking cable to transmit the data.
Yeah.
Just to
But-
make sure the cable at least is kosher enough to charge.
Yeah. Because you can't have an MFI thing in the phone either on the port side. Either they'd have to implement the entire thing in software and have a hardware chip on the charging block, or just get rid of it altogether.
Which I wouldn't be surprised either if they just got rid of MFI in general.
But then they can't
it's
market the
very
cables.
outdated. Yeah.
Yeah, then they can't market the cables, which is why I'd see them doing it like in the charging block. Because then they can still market it as for iPhone.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
Or,
think there's much
you
else
know-
to talk about with Apple unless you guys want to keep going with it. But
Let's.
we got some other cool things.
Yeah.
So, Gabe, we got the UK implementing WEA. Well, not specifically wireless emergency alerts, but a similar concept.
Well, I mean, it's implementing it in the sense that it's being implemented similar, like we have it here in the States and up in Canada. But actually, emergency alerting in the UK has existed for quite some time, especially with mobile.
It was
by
tested back.
them.
I know it was tested back in 2010. It just was never fully
Yeah,
implemented.
It was never fully implemented, but they
as like a
started.
native feature.
They started implementing it as a native feature, and they started that in 2020. But then the circumstances happened, and
Thanks,
on March 4th, 2020, not a native alert, but a text message went out to everybody in the UK saying, "Stay home, protect the NHS, save lives," that kind of thing.
Yeah.
but yeah, it sent.
So kind of that's kind of like a rudimentary version of it. But I've heard
that's like a reverse 911 text system basically right now.
Yeah,
but now they're implementing it.
They're moving to full like iPod style.
I wouldn't say iPod style. They're probably not going to be implementing
the same like interface on phones and whatnot.
Yeah, they're going to be implementing it similar to here we have in the States.
Yeah,
but yeah. So the UK has a very interesting emergency alerting history over the years. So
they've been very indecisive.
Yeah, back during the Cold War, there was something called the Wartime Broadcasting Service, which was an interesting thing.
Wasn't that operated by BBC?
Yes. Well, you got to keep in mind the BBC is a wholly owned government thing.
Yep.
Yeah, it's public broadcast. It's kind of basically like if PBS here was owned by the government.
Yeah, it's established under a royal charter.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I believe. What was that? His Majesty Queen Elizabeth's father was probably the one that actually signed that.
Yeah,
but unfortunately I'm not too familiar with the royal line of succession because that's a clusterfuck on its own. No offense, but like, I shiver every single time I look at that list. But yeah, the Wartime Broadcasting Service was kind of like the equivalent of Comrade during the Cold War, where basically there were automated boxes actually on the BBC stuff where it was they could send a phone command over and it would basically say, and it'll start beeping and say something along the lines like attack warning red, fallout warning black, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
I've heard at one point it was oh dear.
Oh dear, no, that's the oh dear. The oh dear alarm was whenever an incoming message from the government was coming in. Like it's like a
which
like
generally
a
could be about because it was developed around the same time, like especially during the Cold War.
Yeah, exactly. Cold War was an interesting period, man.
Yeah, especially for emergency
we
alerting.
got a lot of stuff out of the Cold War, especially when it comes in the siren department and the warning systems department. We got a lot out of the Cold War.
But yeah, basically the system that they're implementing right now, in theory, it should be going live in October. Basically, they're just going to use it kind of like how we use it in the States, like flooding, fire, public health emergencies. Oh crap! Somebody shooting up the local Tesco or something.
I'm sorry, the Tesco part that got me.
That's horrible.
It's horrible. It's horrible. But you had to mention Tesco.
Well, it just reminds me of the video that I saw.
Specific.
True.
When you said Tesco, the only reason I laughed is because I remembered the video of how to protect your shop.
The Tesco
from
cart.
improvised explosives. Yeah.
God!
If you are interested, go look it up on YouTube. It's how to protect
video
your
is not
shopping
sponsored
trolley.
by Tesco, but Tesco. I mean, hook us up, bro. Anyway.
Hello, we are overseas podcast. Can we get money? I'm just kidding. Basically,
WACN Technologies sponsors this. Tesco, pay WACN Technologies. You know, hey, you're helping everyone. Buy our end deck that doesn't exist, or it does exist. You just won't get it.
Just like give me food.
Oh my God.
You need to pay.
Give me money. I am hunger.
Anyways, but yeah, actually,
who's controlling it? Is it like area wide, or is it literally the head government?
State controlled.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or by state.
And honestly, I'm glad they're doing it that way because Jesus, we have so many like departments here in the U.S.
The alerting,
a lot of it.
The alerting in the UK was fragmented as it is. So having it be centralized is nice. Mm-hmm. But yeah,
imagine like wanting to scream and having to go to the Department of
Please refer to the Department.
All I'm saying is we've.
Why do we have to do this?
Nah. You gotta go to the Department of
All I'm saying is we've come a long way from.
You've got to have the faith.
The Department of Ag.
We've come a long way from launching specific colored flares or like smoke grenades up in the cloud. Yes, that was something they used to do. They used to launch like smoke signals so that people in the area would know like what it was. Like they'd launch a black one for like Fallout and stuff like that. Like I saw a historical film about that recently. But all I'm saying is we've come a long way, and I'm glad they're finally adopting this. I know there's been talk about it for a while, but yeah, I'm glad it's coming here.
So moving on to our next talking point, we got Anna. She brought this into the ERN production server. So iPOS 4.01 update.
Yeah, we actually so fun fact for the people who in ERN who have access to the iPOS system, which is me, Gabe, and Liam, we actually get, or I know I do. I don't know if Gabe/Liam does.
I do.
Yeah, okay. We get emails from iPOS with updates. Like I get them weekly at this point. It's actually kind of ridiculous. But and they give us stuff like webinars and stuff that is like iPOS specific, so you can check to see like, hey, is this vendor
What's
up to
new,
spec?
what's going
And
on?
yeah. Well, it isn't just what's new. They also have like vendor things so vendors can show off. Like I've watched a couple of them where they have some people who go in and show like signage stuff. It's actually pretty cool.
Oh, that's where we saw that one signage with it was Yesco, wasn't it?
I think so. But yeah.
Yeah,
So
big digital boards that were integrated with iPOS.
Yeah, we get emails for that. And the other day, or it was actually a couple months ago, we were sitting down and I get an email that comes up saying, new iPOS spec, iPOS 4.01 coming soon. And I was like, what? And Gabe and Liam were also like, huh?
What? We update iPOS?
Yeah, so we were worried, and I sent them an email asking for info because, you know, whenever you come in and you say, hey, we're changing the spec, but you don't say what the spec is. So I sent them an email and they responded, actually nationwide, with a PDF with exactly what the new spec is. So, for example, they've got some error codes that would be for if you're an originator. They have some error code that would be like, hey, you've got something wrong in your originator, like in your XML that you're sending to iPOS.
Yeah.
And they've got some error codes that they updated there. They've got some advisory code saying, hey, you need to do this, that they've taken out. Like they have new validation processes. And
so basically
not
like anything groundbreaking, just a lot of cleaning up.
Mm-hmm. The big ones that I didn't see coming, where they're removing to event codes. Finally, they're removing NIC and NMN.
Okay,
they're no longer part of the spec.
Does that mean it's also going to translate into EAS at some point, or is that still going to be in the EAS?
That's
spec?
instant. No, that's in EAS. You can no longer issue NIC or an NMN through iPOS. So that is an immediate change on iPOS side. Probably
Thank
within
God Kyle isn't in GWES anymore.
Yeah, probably like within the next couple of years.
Gabe got that.
Yeah, within the next couple of months or years, I'm probably guessing that those are going to be phased out of units. So, like, probably the next major update for the digital is going to take them out. Probably 5.0 for the DAS is going to take them out.
I would say it's probably going to be 5.1 because 5 is already out.
Here's 5.0 isn't out yet.
It's
hasn't
not
been
available
released
to the public, but it's still shipping.
No, it isn't yet. From what I can see, it isn't available yet. So they haven't shipped them yet because I looked into it.
They're shipping the DAS 3s with 4.4.
Yeah, the DAS 3s are shipping with 4.4. So they don't have 5.0 yet because 5.0 isn't done yet. So I'm pretty sure that those won't exist in 5.0 because it's not an iPOS spec anymore. And if it's not in the iPOS EAS spec, it's not in the EAS spec. So
that's fair.
Because nobody's going to be originating one of those codes.
There was really no use for it anyways.
There used to be
actually
use, not
NIC
anymore.
is still in the EAS spec as like a
NMN was too.
Yeah, but
I
NIC
didn't
is
see
what I
these
feel like
coming
is
because I haven't seen any information of them being removed from the EAS spec. They're just
Dude,
out
I've
of IPOS
never
now.
seen NMN used outside of Environment Canada, not gonna lie.
Yeah,
but even
and
then,
then
that's a loose EAS translation.
Yeah.
So,
NIC has been in the EAS spec since I believe the beginning because that's how you
Yeah.
get your information during an EAN.
So, yeah, basically the way it used to work is whenever you issue an EAN, government takeover, right? So they take over all the stations, they send the EOMs, and all stations would be
Silent,
they
or not
would
silent, but I
basically
guess they'd
be
just
like
covering that.
Yeah, they would be covering it or retransmitting not the EAN, but like the
But the
recording of
audio.
the audio. And if they updated the audio, instead of sending another EAN, they'd send it as an NIC. The issue is, well, we never had an EAN, and yeah, we never had an EAN.
We don't
Unless you're
plan on
GWES.
having one.
Unless you're
Yeah.
GWES and you monitor KWAW-FM.
Oh yeah, the lore.
But yeah,
yes.
so like we've never had an actual EAN, and all like the only EAN that was ever issued was a test, and they actually never even sent an EAT for that. So
Yeah.
basically, you'd start.
Does that mean technically we're still in an EAN?
Yeah, technically.
Technically, it's still active.
Yeah, so you'd send an EAN to start, you'd send NICs to update, and you'd send an EAT to end. So that was the original plan.
In between the NICs and the EAT, you would basically get your local and state information through various different codes.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, if there was ever an EAN issued, my guess is we're probably never gonna get an EAT because we won't be here anymore. I'm joking, but still.
Actually, I wouldn't even take that as a joke. That's actually probably serious.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the spec update. They added some validation for URI and web pages. So in the IPOS spec, basically the IPOS is a fancy text file that contains all kinds of information about the alert, like where it's for, what it is, who sent it, who's it for, what it can and can't activate, like WEA EAS, NWEM. It's got all this information. And one of the things that it can have is URI and web pages. So URI can either contain images, audio, video, live feeds.
Extra text.
It can also include, like, for example, Comcast with their aggregator system uses it to send WebMs. MPEG. So that's why. So basically, if you have a Comcast cable box, the way it does the takeover,
MPEG dash.
yeah,
right?
the way it does the takeover is basically it just sits there monitoring a cap feed, and whenever it receives a new cap alert for its local area, it will download that MPEG feed and stream it to your box and do a takeover.
Same with the web version of Comcast. We've learned that's how we figured
Exactly.
it out. The Xfinity one.
So what they do now is they just added an update to the cap, where it now will validate if you can actually reach those links. Because in the past, what would actually happen is we had some. This is back whenever we used to use like the Grandpa Ham site that could monitor iPods. We would have several instances of stations that would originate, like EOCs that would originate it with local IPs to the DAS deck.
Oh my god!
And the DAS deck wasn't port forwarded. The DAS deck wasn't port forwarded or anything. So basically, any EAS box that would receive that message that was in its area, and they would send like RMTs with this info. So these boxes would immediately drop back to TTS or have no audio whatsoever because it had a URI that would not validate on the wider internet.
Yeah.
So because if you went to this, it would literally say like access denied because the port isn't open. So now they actually implemented URI validation on iPOS's side. So what would happen is whenever you issue an alert, it would have to validate that URI or a web address that's encoded into it. So
Okay, that's awesome. I like that.
So yeah. So basically, if it can't validate it, if it can't hit that website instantly,
it just sends an error
it will
code.
it will return an error code saying no, and you have to fix it. So that fixes issues like that. So now you can have properly validated audio. They also have reference updates to the elements. I'm going to have to look into that. I haven't actually seen all that much. They also added an update to disallow, because some EOCs, whenever you're drawing a polygon, you can fuck up, to put it nicely. So if you're drawing a polygon, you never want one of the lines you've already drawn to cross over one of the other lines, because that can break devices that are trying to learn, trying to figure out what that polygon is for. You also don't want to do like a flagpole design where you have a line that is by itself. So they updated IPOS to...
Like how I actually know a situation of this where like it was it was a high wind warning, I think, from Great Falls from like many years back, and the polygon stretched all the way into the European Union.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, so they've changed IPOS to either, I don't know if it's throw an error code or automatically correct for bad polygons.
I don't think it would be automatically correcting. I think it would be more of a like, hey, fucktard, don't send it like that.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure. And also, here's a new thing. I haven't actually checked how it works yet. It seems like one thing that they're adding is a new flag for if it will actually trigger EAS broadcast content messages.
Explain.
Interesting.
I don't know much more about that, but it's a new flag that they're adding. I'm thinking that maybe it might be for like embedded URIs, where you actually have a flag that if it's for EAS, telling the boxes, yes, actually grab this audio. This is what you want in your message.
Oh, nice.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at the spec.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm guessing off of this list.
Please add originator type in the next spec.
Yeah.
It already has originator type.
No, in NWS, I think he means.
Yeah.
Oh.
In the
fix NWS, please.
Yeah.
What do you mean by fix NWS?
Because the DAS decks,
not even that. It would just
the
be
DAS
most
deck
things.
default to Civ.
That's not a problem with IPOS.
Yeah, that's not a problem with IPOS or NWS. That's a problem with the DAS.
Wow.
What DAS deck needs to do is they need to add a flag to allow you to change what the cap originates as.
Because their cap handler is probably just like, oh, Civ.
Yeah, the cap handler immediately defaults to civil if it can't read it from the.
So here's the thing about the DAS deck. So the DAS deck, whenever you're trying to pull NWS cap, the DAS deck does not support cap v2. It does not support the v2 API feed, like the API.weather.gov feed. It only supports the cap v1, which does not have the originator code in it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, since NWS isn't updating that anymore,
I'm hoping 5.0 supports that, but who knows?
It probably won't. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
5.0 really is.
Thing.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't be
5.0
surprised
really is
though,
just a
because
reskin.
I really wouldn't. I would hope that they would fix it, considering the next topic we're going to talk about coming up.
Hold on.
Could change everything.
Honestly, we should make a complaint to Daz about that and see what they do.
I wouldn't even do that, because Daz is on board with these new changes that we'll talk about later.
True. We'll
So
see
they
what they
should
do.
know
We'll see how
this.
we'll see how it pounds
Hold
out.
on. I'm opening up the spec notes for this real quick so I can see.
Okay.
4.0 changes. IPOS now validates NWEM identical structure to EAS. So now NWEM messages are basically treated like an
Fixed.
EAS message.
Wait, elaborate more? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
NWEM messages are now treated as EAS. Basically.
For those who don't know, NWEM is what emergency alerts inside of NWS is handled as. It stands for non-weather emergency messages. So, like, if you have like an Amber Alert, it goes through NWS as an NWEM.
Okay, so
basically any message they have to relay that's not theirs and it's not weather related.
So I'm going through this further. add cat message URI and web validation, it will return a 314 URI token invalid error if it is missing HTTP or HTTPS, a URI that contains a space, or a URI query that contains a question mark.
Okay.
Also, I didn't see this one. It
Error
wasn't in
mode,
there.
huh?
Also, there isn't. This one wasn't in there. Update to Spanish language info block to include Latin characters.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So-
it just broadens the spectrum of what they can use.
Yeah. So that's nice. Update to references. So iPause now validates with exactness all 3 references elements. Oh, so the references thing, they're just validating references better. iPause.
Okay.
So for the bow tie and flagpole thing, they will reject the alert with an error
so
code
ba-
216,
so
invalid
basically what
value
I
in
said.
element polygon. Yeah, it will
They'll
literally
just tell
kind of
you
go.
to fuck off and redo
Yeah.
it.
Okay, so EAS broadcast content messages indicator. iPause will now validate a resource description element if the alert contains a resource element. A value of EAS broadcast content is used to indicate that the elements of a resource block are intended for EAS broadcast.
Okay, yeah.
In addition, the MIME type element for EAS broadcast should be equal to one of the following defined MIME type phrases, which are used to identify broadcast audio for delivery to the public: X iPause audio MP3, X iPause streaming audio, X iPause video, and X iPause streaming video. iPause provides the response codes 501 message not disseminated as EAS and 505 invalid value MIME type if resource element contains an error. And it will not disseminate it to EAS if it does. And audio and video streaming MIME types have not been tested and are not expected to work at this time. Sad.
So it's a work in progress.
Yeah. Well, the validation is already there. Stream they're saying the streaming might not work right now. And from what I can see,
you have to wait
right.
for index to have to have index that properly support that.
The only thing that I can ever see using the streaming is EANs. Which
honestly
doesn't
I don't
matter
think is
because
very
it's
likely.
gonna
that's
go-
where your EANs could go digital.
Yeah. But they haven't tested it because they haven't had another EAN test.
Yeah.
2023 EAN test?
Who knows? Maybe
Who knows?
Maybe this is why they're holding off on testing, because they're waiting to see if they can live relay.
Well, here's the thing. They have to test in order to see if they can.
Most index won't acknowledge that MIME type anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
not
I'm talking
yet.
about like when everything is implemented and when index catch up to it.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Maybe like a new update to it, the Sage and the DAS deck and the EasyCap. Maybe
Well,
it's just one of those. It has
the
to
DAS
actually
can.
be properly supported.
From what I can tell, the DAS can actually support that right now.
Because it's used in EASnet, right?
Yeah, it's used in EASnet.
Yeah, because EASnet supports EAN.
EASnet, if it receives an EAN, there's a flag in the DAS deck to literally have it play stream live to all other DASs that are in its EASnet thing. It's actually pretty cool.
Which is good.
Yeah.
So we know that it works now. We just have to wait for it to
And
go on the national level.
Here's one thing to remind you of: EASnet is CAP. So it works through
operates in the
CAP
same way.
already, at least through EASnet right now.
Fuck
You have to wait for it
iPause.
to be-
Standardize EASnet. JK.
The best thing to think, the funniest thing to think of EASnet is legitimately like iPause cap standard, but it's push.
Yeah.
Yep.
E.g. the better way to do it.
Yeah. Honestly, I think it should be push anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, look at how fast frickin' NPass is.
Yeah, no, ridiculous.
NPass is basically
Speaking of
instant.
which, Gabe was mentioning the fire warning earlier. I got that about maybe a minute later than he did because I'm pulling from the freaking RSS feed like a dummy because I'm too lazy
Exactly.
to implement push. So yeah, my station got
Speaking
it like a
of
minute
fires.
later. Yeah.
Speaking of fires,
Yeah. What happened?
Well, besides the monthly test that I just received for Grace Harbor, I got another WIA.
Oh, spill the tea.
Sky Valley Fire set alert for wildfire. No evacuations yet. That may be necessary with little warning. Be ready.
Jeez. Okay.
Get ready, get set, go.
Yeah. So for context, for speaking on kind of going back onto the WEA topic, the entire West Coast is on fire right now.
Yeah, I got an evacuation
As
order
Bill
from...
Nye has said it once, the world's
world's on fucking fire.
Oh,
fire.
Yeah. No, but I got an evacuation
Hold
order
on.
from Hudson Hope and Farrell Creek. I don't know. Stay
Did
safe.
that just go over cap?
Did
No,
it?
by the Easy Cap is relaying the Grace Harbor Monthly.
Wait, what?
Hi, Easy Cap. I didn't know you were even connected to the network right now.
Yeah, in case you didn't know, Gabe has an easy cap, and it sounds awesome.
The easy cap is like,
You guys want to listen to the world's shittiest?
Test for the following Washington counties. Pacific.
It sounds so
Grace Harbor.
drowned out.
Effective until September 10th, 2011.
too bad the frickin'
Hello, Polly.
too bad
Or not
my
Polly, I'm
911
sorry.
isn't hooked up to anything, because I would have just muted the EAS input and just frickin' sent it live. Like-
Yeah, so
Pico.
this is what happens when you don't provide EAS audio, EOCs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You get this shit. Well, yeah, hey, Grays Harbor, you all have Wave Broadband, which is all easy caps. Listen to this shit. You just subjected your residents to this.
Yeah,
Think about that for a second.
and worse, if you're in an area with a majority DAS, which is literally everywhere, if you have any TV coverage, you're subjecting your listeners to literal cow hell. It's not it's not even like understandable most of the
Legible.
time. Yeah.
Unless you know,
that monitor works.
Honestly, in my opinion, TTS should literally just be a backup. Like, it should just be the EOC sending audio.
See,
it should totally just be
okay.
a backup.
honestly, there is one feature on the DAS deck that I think should be the idea of how CAP works in general. There is a
Yep.
flag on the DAS deck that says, use TTS if no original audio is found. That's how it should be. There should be original
Exactly.
audio, and TTS should be a fallback.
It should be a complete fallback. Like, it's so much easier for... That's why we have a couple stations. Like, I mean, we have WTOP, and here, well, we used to have... anyways, a lot of them, like, originating their... stupid, or, like, WBAP, a lot of them, like, originating their own stuff because human voice is so much easier to understand, and people know the voice, and they're like, oh crap, I gotta shelter, instead of hearing a civil authority has issued a shelter in place warning for
I can be eating the mic in this studio and you guys could still understand me.
better than cow.
But yeah, but God forbid you get frickin' perfect Paul in here. That
God,
you get perfect Paul in here and just make it slightly distorted and you can't understand him at all.
yeah.
You distort any text to speech
Hey,
voice, and it's not
at least it
understandable.
isn't e-speak.
Yeah, no.
A civil authority has issued a...
Hey,
yeah,
here's
so
your
we-
friendly
we need
reminder.
to,
That's what we did in NERP.
Friendly
Yeah.
reminder. That's what. Back in the day, back when me and Vincent had our little Maggot Alert Network gig, that's what we used. It was all e-speak
Yeah.
Rip.
because it was
Yeah, so-
because it had two F's. It was fast and it was free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, AWS Poly that's actually what Marley's been running lately.
It's great, but
well,
it
here-
should still be a fallback.
Here's the thing. AWS Poly sounds great and all. You have to remember that if we get everybody using it, it's going to start to cost you.
Actually,
So it doesn't,
I'd
it
like
doesn't hit
to-
one of those Fs.
I'd like
Well,
to
I don't
speak on the
think so.
contrary.
Well,
'Cause
here's
it's
the
been
thing.
pretty cheap.
Here's the thing. It's been pretty cheap. Then again, you only have 2 people using it.
Yeah, but I
You
send
only
like
have two
a
people using it,
bajillion
but
alerts
Marley
a day.
does everything.
Yes. Here's the
I
thing.
send everything.
Here's the thing. If you're sending a bajillion alerts per day, yes. But if you have the entirety of ERN, 18 people or 19, I don't remember how many anymore. If you have that many people sending a bajillion alerts a day, that adds up fast.
Yeah, but it would
Think
still
about
only
it.
cost
Everybody-
like
I would love to
$5 a
try
month.
that.
It would
Yeah.
still
I would
only
love
cost
to
like
try
$5 a month.
No, I wouldn't even
not
say
necessarily,
that. It would
'cause-
cost cents.
Here's the thing: the more usage you have out of that, if it's costing Cam cents for 2 people to use it, imagine
No,
18 people.
So let me tell you.
Imagine John.
Okay, so actually, I would like to go on the contrary of that. So last month, Marley used it the entire month, all 30 days, and AWS charged me 0 cents for Poly for the month.
Here's the thing: they also work off of a character count, so it depends on how many cap alerts that are sent in that month, and also it depends on how many users you have. Because the more users you have, the faster you're going to hit that number.
That's true.
So,
That's true.
So if you have 18 people sending all those cap alerts, all generating TTS, let's say there's an average of 4,000 characters, and you have let's say there's an average of 4,000 characters, and you have a 100,000 character limit per month. That's only going to take you, and let's say there's 3 cap alerts per day. That's going to take you maybe a week to hit that limit with 18 people.
I would love to try it out, see what that limit is.
Well,
I would love to
here's the
hook
thing.
up more people to it.
Here's the thing: from subscription models that I've seen like that in the past, what they will do is it's like free up to X amount of characters, and then it's like for every 1,000 characters past that, it adds on $1.
Yeah.
So
I know
as
AWS
soon as
is
you
pretty-
hit that limit, it gets expensive fast.
I know. So with AWS, they actually have a really, really good price on TTS. I think it's by like per 10,000 characters, and even then, it's only like a cent.
Yeah.
And
hold
it's all
on.
pay as you go.
Yeah, I'm looking it up.
Anna's researching. But anyways, AWS Poly is great. They have a news announcer mode, which is freaking awesome. It sounds great, especially when you put it behind processing. But, I mean, don't put your NDEC behind processing. Bad idea. Don't follow my lead. Monkey
Unless you
see,
know what
monkey
you're
do.
doing.
Unless you know what you're doing, yeah.
Oh yeah,
but
here
the
you go. Amazon Poly costs $4 per 1 million characters.
Holy jeez, that's good.
No, it isn't actually.
No?
Because
I mean-
here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like I said, if you have 18 people, if you're sending 3 cap alerts with an average of 4,000 characters per alert, right?
That's true.
And
that's true.
so here, 4,000, right? Times 18. Let's say there's 18 people in ERN, and then I said around 3 alerts per day, right? That's
Yeah.
216,000 characters in one day.
Okay, that's true. Okay.
But I guess it
multiply
depends
that
on,
by
on the market you're doing.
Multiply that by 31 days. That's times. Hold on. Oop, no, come back. History. Yes. Divided by 1 million. Oop. Times 4. That's $30 a month, right? Doesn't
Yeah.
sound like a lot, but if you know monthly fees, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever
will agree.
I was running ERN cap off of Google WaveNet, every hour I would be regenerating. I'd be regenerating my local forecasts every hour, and that ended up costing around $70 a month.
Holy
Yeah.
Jesus.
Here's the
me
thing.
maintain that.
Here's the thing. If you're using AWS Poly like that, that's $321 a year.
Yeah.
As
Okay, but
opposed
to be fair though, think of the
Sappy
market
voices
that
on Linux.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
think of the market that AWS is pointing toward. It's business. $300 for good sounding voices
Yeah.
isn't half bad.
Well, they're also
yeah.
expecting you to use it like 99 times a day.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Which is what Marley does right now.
For example,
Yeah.
for me, I was using Google WaveNet at least 24 times a day,
Yeah.
sending upwards of 400 or 500 characters for text-to-speech generation.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. You're talking about NWS things? Those are like 2,000 characters each.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah, there's not like 400 or 500
these were
characters is like a
parsed.
sentence.
These were parsed.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyways,
keep in mind,
just
characters do not include spaces.
Yep.
Actually, for most TTS voices, they do.
Not for Google WaveNet.
Okay.
But yeah, so I think
Well,
I
then,
think
good for
this
you,
is a
Google.
good time to move on to the next talking point because I actually have something good that I would love to hear on this. But so the FCC proposal for changes to EAS, I guess the main talking points of this is if it's adopted, it requires EAS participants to always prioritize CAP versions of alerts when available over legacy versions.
I like that, but also like, bruh.
Wait,
I
hold
like
on.
that,
if
but
it gets you clear
Mnet,
audio.
Mnet is shaking right now.
Yeah, Mnet is shaking.
And then here's another big one. I did not see this coming. The possible retirement of emergency action notification, national periodic test, and primary entry point.
What?
Here's the thing.
combining
It's
it
not
onto
going to be
one
in the
code.
codes. Not
Well, it's
the
not going to be in the
codes.
codes, but as
But it would change the
formatting
translations to, so EAN would be national emergency message,
Mhm.
NPT would be nationwide test of the emergency alert system, and then primary entry point would be the United States government.
Huh. Okay.
Um,
Okay, I like
Honestly,
it.
hering that, like saying it out loud for like the first time, I kind of like that idea.
I like it, yeah.
I don't like the United States government. I feel like they should change that to something else. But
I
FEMA.
think
FEMA.
primary entry point will still be useful in that case because the primary entry point can be a number of different things,
Mhm.
not necessarily government affiliated. Like if the government had a trusted delegate of a private company that originated the alerts for them.
I agree.
Yeah.
Primary
The thing is, I
entry
like
point still
about this, the thing I'm excited for on this is it may potentially lead to NWS issuing CAP formatted alerts over iPods in the foreseeable future.
What do you?
And
like
that
as in
I mean,
over NWR.
Over iPods. No,
Oh.
iPods. They would send
Oh.
alerts, like proper iPods alerts.
I do and I don't like that. I don't know.
Oh.
I'm still stuck with my NWS or my NWR.
So,
And it could, the thing is though, with this, it could remove NWR as a primary source.
Cam.
Yes.
the two
already do
terminologies that they have is they have United States government, but it would normally show up as National Public Warning System, which
didn't
I like
hear-
that better.
Yeah, I do, but didn't I hear something about Sage and Daz knocking the whole NWR thing?
I'm not 100%. They were talking about the whole like terminology change. They are on board with it.
Okay.
Yeah. They,
I don't know how I feel about the whole NWR thing. I know I'm a weenie, but like I don't know. NWR is kind of like it's mostly for the most part
honestly,
reliable.
There's a word
if
for that.
I
It's
wanted to
called
see it,
stubborn.
in my opinion,
Yeah.
if I wanted to see it work out in my vision, keep the NWR and do the same thing as the rest of the
I
alerts.
agree.
Use it
yeah.
as a backup.
Yeah, makes sense.
And like I was mentioning it in an earlier voice call today, could you imagine if NWS Cap had Tom perfect instead of screwed up by your NWR signal?
Yeah, true. I agree.
You could actually, because Tom is actually a very understandable
Paul?
voice when
You
you,
mean Paul?
don't have all.
Paul.
Paul.
Yeah.
Tom is pretty understandable without static too.
if only it was
Yes.
Tom.
Oh god, I'd
Bring
shit
back
my
Tom.
pants every time I got an SDR.
CRS Tom.
Dude, I'd shit my pants.
Yes.
I have
Yeah.
some recordings of CRS. I have some recordings of CRS Tom.
The National
Direct-
Weather Service
direct
has
from the
issued a
album.
tornado warning.
The National Weather Service.
The
But
National
yeah, I
Weather
think it would
Service.
be. I think these voices will start to really shine in their capabilities once you remove all your static shit.
yeah.
G722.
Hey, I
encoding
like the
going
static
across the
shit.
phone
Then again,
line.
I am a radio operator,
do.
so
Here's
I
the
do.
thing,
I
though.
like
We
the
gotta-
static
we gotta-
shit, not
you-
gonna lie.
You gotta. But here's the thing. Yeah, we might like it and everything, but the whole point of this is to alert the public. If it's hard for people to understand it, we can understand it because we've heard it a bunch of times. We know the voices well. We can understand with all the static. But think of the public. They're gonna be like, "What the
That's
hell
true.
is this?"
Yeah, I agree.
And then they're just
Yeah.
gonna ignore it because they can't
Yeah.
understand it.
Yeah.
you know what they should do?
What?
Do something like WaveNet.
Yeah.
Just
Hey,
frickin-
by the way, about
Have some-
about cap modernization and stuff like that. Have we heard? Because I remember a while ago there was like a government push or some sort of push to have NWS a whole update to NWS where they had to like they were required to send like cap stuff over NWR. Has there been any recent push or update to that?
That's why Cap Handler is a thing.
Well, I know, but has there been a more like a push for everyone to have a cap handler? Has that? Because I remember that was a thing a while ago.
Yes, but no.
No.
Yeah.
Most of it's internal with NWS right now.
Then again, like freaking, what is it like? Less than 2% of the population actually has a NOAA weather radio in the first place.
Yeah, but think of the reach that NWR still has regarding that.
That is
like,
true.
regardless
I mean,
of that.
thing.
we have nuts coverage for NWR, at least here in the South.
Here's the thing. Yes, they don't actually have the NOAA weather radio, but you know what they do have? AM, FM, TV.
Yeah,
people
Streaming
monitor.
service.
People.
I mean, that is the whole
NWR.
point of NWR right now. Literally, the whole point of NWR is to send shit to other people like broadcast stations. I mean, that's really kind of the whole point of it anymore.
Well, I mean, the purpose of it kind of shifted. The first purpose of it was obviously the public.
Yeah,
and now
because
it's
nobody
kinda
had the
shifted
internet.
as the relay.
See,
Yeah.
I have I've been waiting for something to pass. I don't think it's going to pass at this point, judging how I haven't seen any info. There was a push at one point for streaming services such as Spotify, Pandora,
Netflix,
like
I think.
Netflix, YouTube, to include cap alerts on the actual thing. Imagine watching a
I
YouTube
think it's
video.
still a valid argument.
Yeah, I think that should be done because here's the thing. Yes, it is important to have these messages on your phone, on your TV when you're watching over the air or cable, on your radio. But here's the thing.
But the majority of people like freaking watch streaming nowadays. It's
exactly.
Yeah.
The majority of people are watching Netflix, Hulu, Google, whatever.
The times have changed, and the alerting systems need to shift with it.
Exactly. That's why I feel like that push in the past. And it would also, this is one thing that I think everybody in this call would love. It would mandate every single station that has an online stream, it would mandate them to have EAS on it.
I would honestly enjoy that. It needs to be reaching.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Most of these people, like for example, the station that I'm at right now, for reference to people who can't see this, I'm legitimately at one of the studios at a radio station right now.
Yeah.
Studio C at WXRW. Most people, the majority of people who listen to WXRW listen to it through I don't know if it's Broadcastify or iHeartRadio. It's one of them.
It's not Broadcastify, I'll tell you that much.
I don't remember, but the majority of our listeners are through streaming services. Our stream of WXRW does not include EAS. It doesn't.
And there's a good reason. I will say there's a good reason.
Yeah,
because they loop recordings a lot from the stream.
Not actually through. So our stream is through a software called BUT to an IceCast server, or broadcast using this tool. We call it BUT because that's its acronym.
Funny.
Because it's funny.
Yeah. So we use BUT at the studio to transmit to an IceCast server, and the issue with doing that is they also use BUT as a backup recording service because we have airtime to record our shows, but a lot of times airtime would fail for one reason or another. So what they have is they have remote software that they can remote into the BUT machine, which is what we call it, and click record on that. So we cannot have EAS on that stream because that means that if we were recording it due to a failure on airtime's side, we would have recordings of those headers, and whenever we went to play back that show, we'd replay those headers, which is an FCC violation.
This reminds me of a specific Montana moment. Cam, if you wish to elaborate.
Yeah, bear in mind, whenever we replay these shows, they're not over just the stream; they're over the air.
They're
actually broadcasted on a 2,000 watt transmitter.
Yeah.
So you cannot have you legitimately cannot it's 250 watts. Sorry, not 2,000 watts. We're not 2 kilowatts. I wish.
In KWAW's place, you shouldn't rebroadcast them at all for a very good reason.
Yeah. So basically, we have issues like that, which honestly, they should be using a different service. Like they should install Audacity on that BUT machine to record that, because then you can clip out those headers. Yeah. Or we should have I've been suggesting to them, and what I might actually set up myself, a secondary stream, one with and one without, and that secondary stream literally, or you may not even need the secondary stream to go over the air, the one without, or over their live stream. What you can do is have that secondary stream to an internal software, which I'm thinking about building this for them. It's an internal software that literally just gives you a record option.
Yeah.
You don't need that to go over over the
either that, or you could make it an automatic record and then dump the recording if it hasn't been touched.
Well, yeah. Because I know our schedules are like every hour 30 minutes, and it's all on the replay machine. So yeah, I could legitimately write a software to automatically record that. So that would do several things for us. A, we would be compliant if that is something that they make a requirement, and B, it makes a lot of people like EAS Test Fan 25 Drew, who scours the web for every single station.
It would make him obsolete.
Yeah. No, it wouldn't make him. It wouldn't make him obsolete. It would just make him happy because it
would make his job easier.
Yeah, it make his because we don't have to sit down and think, is this station a streamer or not? Yes, they are. And if they're not, you know what?
And if they're not,
and if they're not, hey FCC,
we have a problem.
Yeah. So
and we will FCC find you, as we've done many times before.
But yeah. Not only is that a win for the EAS community as a whole, it's a win for alert hunters like Drew. It's a win for emergency management because now it's going everywhere. That's also why I think
should be.
Yeah, I think like you don't necessarily even need like headers and attention tone on like streaming services like Hulu and Netflix and YouTube and shit like that. Put like not even a banner. Do basically WEA.
Or do what Comcast does.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, albeit if doing what Comcast does would be a little harder for like YouTube and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you can partner with like Comcast and Cox to use their aggregator feed.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be way easier for something like Hulu and Netflix, but for YouTube, you don't necessarily need to do that. You could literally just have it be like WEA. It will pause your video and put, like, you know that they have options to overlay text on the things because they already took it away from us.
Yeah, I remember.
You remember the freaking boxes that you could type in?
The annotations.
Yeah, the annotation. God, I miss annotations. Literally bring back annotations for that. That's only for emergency management. Literally integrate CAP into it. Come on, Google. I know you can do this. Integrate CAP into it and just have an automated annotation box that will pause your video, go full fucking screen, and be like, emergency alert!
Actually, as a matter of fact, I know Google can do that because they literally host their own CAP feeds for emergency alerts. They have a whole website for it. I forget what it's called.
Because that's what they use for Google Maps.
They have an open source API for Java on parsing.
And actually, fun story, if you try to make a Google search during a tornado warning, it will come up on the top and say there's a tornado warning in effect for your area.
They already have all the resources to do it. Why haven't they done it yet?
Oh, because people are going to complain. Oh, my video stopped.
That's why I
have a
want
theory on it.
The FCC to No, here's the thing. They can. They can.
No, that's what I'm saying. My theory on it is they're not being forced to. Why the hell would they do it on their own?
Why would they put in the resources?
They need to have a specific guidelines set to do that.
That's why I wish that one. It's probably hasn't because that thing was brought up like 2 years ago and I haven't seen anything on it since. It's probably closed by now. But if they did it, that would have been a game changer. Because imagine having an emergency alert come up on a YouTube video while you're watching YouTube. Let's say I know for a fact that a lot of I think it's a lot of T-Mobile's a lot of people on T-Mobile carriers currently has WEA disabled. Thanks, T-Mobile. So
I re-enabled it.
Yeah,
But,
I
you
did
know,
too. I haven't gotten
For
anything since then.
context, a couple of podcast episodes ago, we talked
Yeah.
about how T-Mobile was originating their own WIA test and blaming it on iPods.
Yeah,
and iPods
you could
got all
go. You
pissed
could go
off.
check.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're interested in any of that, it's a very very fun and a very
You know
fun
what
and
else?
interesting show.
You know what else
that you
should
could
be?
go
They
to.
were-
The one that we're talking
Yeah.
about is episode 12. It's called Volcanoes
Yeah.
and T-Mobile Shenanigans.
If I'm gonna be honest, you know what else should be mandated? I feel like it should be completely illegal, or not illegal. I feel like it should not be an option to disable WIA in any way, shape, or form. Because I feel like there's a lot of people I know
do
there's
think
a lot
that
of people.
Amber Alerts should still be able to be disabled.
Okay,
'cause
that's
one that
fair.
a
Maybe
lot of
Amber
people
Alerts,
complain
but
about.
not stuff like tornado warnings or
Okay.
anything.
I feel like they need to give you further control. Severe weather that is affecting your specific area
Yeah.
should not be able to be disabled. Tornado
that shouldn't be a
warnings.
thing.
Yeah, tornado warnings, destructive severe thunderstorm warnings, like a squall line or something. Flash
dust
flood
storm or-
emergencies. Those should not be able to be disabled whatsoever, as long as they're affecting your specific area.
Or public safety stuff, like
Yeah.
civil
Civil emergency messages.
breakouts.
Yeah. Stuff
Yeah.
like that should not be able to be disabled. It should fall under like
Shall I play devil's advocate?
Okay, go ahead. Play devil's advocate.
All right.
I'd love to hear it.
All right.
go.
Hello, my name is Devil's Advocate.
Okay.
I have a smartphone. That whenever WIA goes off, it interrupts navigation, and I have it on my dashboard for navigation.
Okay,
whenever I'm going
that's
from
fair.
Whenever I'm going from location to location as an emergency response unit.
So there could be like a subtle mode or something. Like if you're driving, it's not as freaking pronounced. If you're connected
here's
to CarPlay.
Here's a
CarPlay's WIA implementation is horrible.
here's something you can do. Have it be like if you're traveling like that and you're already in a navigation mode. First of all, turn the WIA tone down, or just change it to something else. Maybe like a special notification tone that isn't the WIA tone.
What if my car doesn't have CarPlay and I just have a magnetic phone mount with Google Maps on?
Then get a
Yeah.
better. No, I'm joking.
Here's what I'm saying.
What if I'm using
Don't-
Waze, which doesn't trigger the native navigation mode on
Here-
Android?
Well, here's the thing. Waze does have a
most
navigation mode.
Okay, most modern phones,
No.
detect if you're driving.
Waze-
Like Apple phones,
Waze-
most of them detect if you're driving.
Waze doesn't trip the driving mode on Android. I tried it.
Yeah,
Really?
just not the native driving mode.
Yeah.
But what I feel like it should do is, your phone can pretty easily figure out whenever you're driving, because most people don't walk at 30 miles per hour.
What if I have my location services turned off because I?
Well, then you're fucking stupid.
Well, no,
No, then you have your accelerometer and gyroscope.
Yeah. Your accelerometer and gyroscope on your phone, and if you don't have that, you have an issue.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, you don't have a modern phone.
At that point, your phone probably doesn't support
what if my name
WIA.
is Edward Snowden and I take that shit out on my phone?
Well, then you're Edward Snowden, and I guess you're gonna die in a tornado.
So what I feel like it should do is it should be able to detect that shit. And if you're going, like, let's say you're going at, let's say, a minimum cap of
Mock Jesus.
15 miles per hour. If you're going at or above 15 miles per hour, drop WIA into a mode where it is a normal notification, not a full screen takeover where you need to click OK to make it go away. Normal ass notification, and just play the WIA tone and show it up at the top, and then have it go away.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing. I'm gonna object that. I think it should be dependent on what mode your phone is running in. So like iPhone, if it's in CarPlay mode, yeah, obviously change it.
Yeah.
If your Android is in Android Auto, change it. But I don't think in any other situation should you really change it, because the phone can't really,
Gotta
because
keep in
even
mind,
if the phone sensors can agree with what you're saying, you don't know.
Well, yeah, but that's why I was saying, if you're in one of those modes, change it, but also if you're going over like 15 miles per hour. Because
Yeah.
there's only two instances.
How dare you? I walk at 16.
There's only 3 instances
I bike
that
at
you
75.
There's only 3 instant. Well, at that point, you still want it to be in that mode because you don't want to
Yeah.
be biking with like a mode on, and then
Distractions.
suddenly you lose all control of your screen because you need to click OK.
Dude, if I'm biking at 75, I can outrun a freaking tornado. I'm joking.
But basically, what I'm saying is, at most instances that you're going over 15 miles per hour, you will want it in a mode like that because, like,
What if I'm a passenger?
See, that's kind of what I was saying.
yeah. Well, here's the thing: if you're a passenger, like, deal
probably
with
on your
it.
phone
I
anyway.
What if I'm
guess.
a passenger wearing headphones?
Well, actually, Android.
Then, fuck you.
No, I tested this recently. Android turns down your WIA volume when you have headphones plugged in, or
Yes, it does
Bluetooth
actually do
connected.
that.
Yeah, not sure about iPhone, but I
we're
know
still
Android
going on
does.
the driving situation here.
Yeah.
Okay, let's switch. over to
Hey,
the
solution: don't be driving while there's a WIA. Simple solution, dude. We told third world problem here. I'm joking.
Okay,
or no,
but-
first world problem. Sorry, I meant to say that.
Okay, I got enough here. What? Let's do another scenario just to
Oh,
see
boy.
how that is.
Hey,
I'm a pilot.
Oh, yo,
Airplane mode, no question.
airplane mode.
well, actually, if
I
you're a
am a
pilot, your
pilot.
phone has to be in airplane mode legally. So therefore, you're not going to get WIA in the first place.
And
Yeah,
if you are, you
but-
deserve to crash.
But
no.
But-
For legal reasons, that is a joke.
Yeah, for legal reasons, that was
if
fully
you
a
will
joke.
allow me to finish, if you allow me to finish my sentence, that'd be
Okay,
Airplane mode.
go ahead.
I am a pilot.
Uh
I am on short final towards a runway.
huh.
Airplane mode is enabled on my phone. Wi-Fi, but I have Wi-Fi enabled with Wi-Fi calling tied back to my carrier.
Uh huh.
You can still get WIA through that.
Okay,
I had
well,
that
so
happen
at
before.
that point, no, hear me out. At that point, your plane crashes, but you crash into the tornado, and it saves everyone else from the tornado. It stops the tornado.
my
Everyone else
God.
is saved.
Okay.
So that
Gabe,
point, the WIA saved you from the tornado.
Actually, I'm
Gabe,
pretty sure I can elaborate on that because I'm pretty sure when you are a pilot, you're not allowed to have any communication standards on your cellular device.
yeah.
Probably except for Bluetooth. I don't know.
Here,
No.
You can have
here's
wireless-
No?
you can have wi- you can-
Really?
Because
you
you're
can-
closer to the electronics.
True.
No. Flight pads. Flight pads are normally cellular enabled, connected to the plane's Wi-Fi.
flight pads.
Cool.
Do not have WIA enabled.
Yep, because even if they are cellular models,
How do you know
they
that?
do not support VIA
because
VIA is
I-
only supported on phone.
I
series.
follow a lot of. They run like custom freaking OSs that are
Not the
normally.
ones that I've seen.
No, I
Sure?
think what Gabe is. I
I've
think
been-
what Gabe is talking about is think of like an iPad Mini on cellular
Yeah, like
running.
they're literally they're running like I've literally seen them run iPads and like Nexus 7s.
Huh.
well, in that case, iPads
talking
and
about- I'm
Nexus
talking
don't
about-
support.
I'm not
VIA.
talking about the planes in. I'm not talking about the planes
The
actual
avionics.
the avionics. I'm talking about. I'm talking about the thing that they keep on the side to look at their flight plan without having to dig into the FMC.
That doesn't have WIA support.
Yeah. Well.
The FMC doesn't have WIA support. Yeah, no shit.
Disable WIA on it. I'm joking.
Well.
I'm
yeah,
talking
well-
about the iPads. Even though they are cellular, they are not required to have WIA.
Well, what if I'm not using an iPad?
iPads
Well-
don't have
Android
WIA.
equivalents.
Okay, we all know the real question here. Can I get WIA on my Tinker Toys Leap Pad, please? Can I get WIA on that?
Well, Gabe, that in my experience, they're not constantly looking at their flight pad, and normally whenever they are
No.
looking at their flight pad, I think they're going to be clicking more buttons than the OK. That's going to take them 2 seconds.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you're a
but
pilot,
also
you
here's
should be
the thing,
trained
it's
to
not
not
gonna-
also,
it's
you
not
shouldn't
going
be
to
getting
startle
that
them
anyway.
either.
Yeah,
And it's not going to startle them either because they have their
They are literally in a jet.
they're literally
For
in a
legal
jet, and they
reasons-
have noise canceling headphones on to talk to ATC.
for legal reasons, this is a joke. But until it kills someone, I don't think it's a problem.
Okay.
Okay,
And I don't think it's going to kill anyone anytime
Yeah.
soon.
anytime soon.
The only reason
What
that
if
that
New
can
Hampshire starts sending WIA demos?
Hello, T-Mobile. That's
well,
a
here-
problem.
Actually, I'm
What if
pretty sure
you're
that's an
T-Mobile?
FCC violation.
well,
yeah.
here's the thing. That would
What
actually
if your
say
team? Hold on. Just what if you are T-Mobile and have an insatiable, unending boner
An
to annoy every single
unquenchable
one of your
thirst.
customers?
Then I guess you lose your customers and also lose
Well-
a couple lives, maybe.
here's the thing. That mode
Wait.
would save your ass because basically now you don't have to click OK to make it go away. It will only play the Wii tone once, and it shows up as a notification, and it's just a notification you dismiss. You don't have full screen takeover that will keep playing the Wii tone until you click OK.
Okay, well, I think that's subjective on what kind of phone you have. iPhones never have had full screen takeover for Wii.
Yeah.
They're always
Yep.
normal notifications.
Androids have it.
To be fair,
for, on the iPhone side,
think they don't
it's
swipe
It's
out.
a normal notification. They're considered. So I don't know if you're familiar with how the Apple notification system works. There's no notifications. There is the ban or alerts, which automatically
And
dismiss, and then
persistent,
there's
right?
alert/persistent, and that
Yeah.
like those are the ones like where like you have like an alarm clock. You have to do something with it.
It doesn't fully take.
Well-
You can still do other stuff. It just sits at the top of your
Yeah,
screen.
it just sits at the top. It's a notification
Well,
that just doesn't dismiss
okay.
itself.
I thought the frickin' iPhone Wii was like it full screen and it's a box in the middle that you have to click OK.
Nope, that's
No,
Android.
That was
That's
actually
Android.
on like old iPhone.
Well,
Yeah, that was like iPhone.
the last
that was
iPhone I
iOS
had-
5, I think.
yeah,
That was like
Anna,
iOS
you haven't
5.
had an iPhone since you.
I have
were born,
legitimately not
practically.
touched a newer iPhone since like
the iPhone 6.
like the 6.
Did you just get another one, Gabe?
No, this is my history.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I don't think I've gotten any Wii on this new phone.
No, you
I
haven't.
have received one Wii on my iPhone 13, I think, and that
I
was
received quite a few.
that was an
These
Amber
are.
Alert. I think.
I have received a grand total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 on this phone.
Jesus.
1,
Wow.
2,
But
3,
anyways, I think-
4 of them were thanks to T-Mobile.
Oh,
I don't know about you guys, but I think that this is a good time to wrap it up. Just let it settle with the listeners so they can get their own opinions. On this.
okay,
Yeah.
that's not disconcerting. New topic for next time. Why is Android by default keeping extreme threats off?
Oh God, what?
Yeah, I have not touched my Wii settings. I went into my Wii settings and extreme and severe threats were off.
What?
That's
we
the
will have
default
to
settings.
touch on that. We will have to
We're
touch on
gonna
that
have to
next
look
time.
into
Here,
this
look,
off
look.
air.
Look.
Yeah. Wow. So Anna's showing her.
Oh, wait,
showing
hold
her
on.
screen right
I
now.
bumped it with my finger. It was like that whenever I went into the menu.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So Anna's showing her.
So
her
yeah,
screen
we're
right
gonna
now,
dig
it's
into that.
off.
This is gonna be a follow up for the next episode, so expect that in the next episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, we hope you enjoyed
Expect an
listening to
update.
the ERN podcast. This is the longest episode we've ever recorded, but also
1 hour
arguably
and 40
probably one of the
minutes?
best.
Yeah.
I don't know.
After we
I
cut
still
out.
think the best was the analog index episode. When you're done with this, if you want
Why?
something to listen to the analog
yeah,
one.
the analog index episode, we went really deep into like easy horror stories, and it was great.
Yeah, go listen to that one if you want another episode. If you haven't fallen asleep yet.
Hey
But yeah,
guys,
but
just
if you're liking what you're hearing in general, you can subscribe and get future episodes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
and we have a YouTube channel.
Yeah,
it's
we do.
GWES-ERN podcast. Like this
Yep,
episode will be up there.
the videos are uploaded roughly about the same time that RSS feeds pull it.
Yep.
hey Cam, when are we actually having a proper video podcast?
When Riverside decides to not tell people that don't use specifically Chrome to fuck off,
Yeah.
and when Marley gets a better computer.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I mean, Cam puts quite a bit of processing on here, but maybe sometimes you can hear it. I have like
Hey.
10 fans running on this computer right now at
No,
jet speed.
Riverside has some pretty strong noise
Who wants
reduction.
Yeah.
to hear my network switch?
Hey, oh, speaking of which, hey Cam.
This is the stuff you don't hear.
Hey Cam.
Yeah.
Idea. Whenever you're going through and editing this, we should make a bleeped version that all fucks and shits are bleeped. So we. Well,
You mean all and shits?
yeah. Here's the thing. I'm saying do that, and then I might be able to coerce WXRW to play it on the air.
Oh my god.
Well, not
That
this
would be
episode
cool,
because
okay,
Tanner's
right?
Happened.
That would be cool. That would be so cool.
You know what? Tell you what. If you can coerce them to do it, then maybe I will spend the time and bleep it all out. If you can somehow
Marley, you don't even
coerce them.
Marley, you don't even have a powerful enough computer to probably open Audacity.
Tell you what, if you can convince them, I'll do it.
Well, but yeah, so
hell, I'll use iMovie.
But yeah, Marley, all the raw files are on the on the Amazon bucket.
Yep.
So
hey, here's one thing. My freaking studio manager has literally asked me if I wanted to do a podcast here before. So if I tell him,
here you are doing one.
Hey, I already have a podcast.
This is my podcast. Yeah. No, I'm kidding.
we are okay. I have a podcast to give to them.
You're a producer of a podcast.
Tell you what, let me know if they want it. I'll bleep it for you.
So I think this is a good time as any to wrap things up here. So we hope you enjoyed this. If you're interested in getting more episodes, you can subscribe on literally any podcast platform.
GWES-ERN Technologies.
So we'll see you guys next week.
Hey Cam.
All right. Thank you for listening.
Hey Cam, if you're gonna do that, fuck shit, motherfucker, god damn it.
Okay. All right. Have a good time. Have a good night, day, wherever you are. Thank you for listening.
Sorry for party rocking.
And this has been the GWES-ERN podcast.
Bye.